Okay.
Got too many things to get done.
Oh, me too. Too many things I should be doing. Have that back. Put that in that. Here's a special one.
Special one, huh? Wow.
Oh, no newspaper, I think. No, he didn't think he'd be back from some. Yeah, I wish about that.
You guys didn't go to town today.
No, I don't. I'm just-
You're in the paper.
Or 8x10s. I hate that. That picture. No, that's a.
It looked like a deer in the headlights.
What did you say?
You see your money. Uh-oh, I got quoted this week. Here we go.
Must have. That's one good thing about being the chairman.
What's that?
I haven't got quoted too much.
Your picture was in there a couple weeks ago.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, front page.
Well, that'll keep the mice down in them houses. If they saved it.
28.
Paying the taxes.
This a new hire? What is?
No, that person's resigned. Oh,
No paying the taxes for me. You guys heard her, so I don't have to worry about
I'm already
you.
give you the money.
What office was this? Treasurer?
Vicky Franks. Yeah, that's
had
the one
all
that
year.
was the buzz a week ago. Have you seen the payroll page?
Yes, sir.
Well, we got about a minute to go. Should we slowly get up and get started?
Yeah, we're getting that age.
Yeah,
Well,
well, by the phone, if we're a minute late.
sorry. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'll call this meeting to order.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for March 28th.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for March 21st, 2023.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Want to go right to meetings attended, then we'll do the special claims.
We had our first emergency services board meeting last night. It went well. It took quite a bit of time and a lot of discussion. Questions on, I guess, their role, and I tried to explain to them their role. I also kind of put together, I called Sandy and got the total taxable value of Louisa County so that we had a number that we could did out scenarios, 25% per thousand would equal approximately this much money. And 50 cents would equal this, and 75 would equal that. And just to give them a feel for the revenue that it could potentially, excuse me, generate. Really no decisions at this point. I sent the 3 departments back with homework. It would be, of course, Wapello, Wise County Ambulance, and Morning Sun. They need to bring me an updated budget. We have to figure out what it's going to take to get them to zero, to just operate. We need to know that amount of money. Then I needed to know on a 10-year plan for each one of them, their capital expenditures. Is there a new ambulance going to be needed in 2 or 3 years? Is it new life packs? And I realized the first 2 or 3 years, is you could kind of forecast, and as you get farther out, you really don't know. That way we could get those numbers together and I could have a 10-year plan on the money that potentially we would have to spend. Once I have those two numbers, we can go backwards and divide it out and find out what it's gonna take per 1,000 to do that work. I'm working backwards instead of throwing a dart against the wall and saying, oh, it's 60 cents and that's what we need, or let's just go for the whole 75. I told him, I said, I just don't want to throw tax out there just because. We're going to put some thought into it. We're going to work on it, and we're going to come to the voters with an reasonable and accurate number of what we think it's going to take to operate those systems. The problem that we have is one of them's running at a pretty good deficit right now, which I think they're getting their stuff together, but it's going to take a little time.
Like 14 months.
Yeah,
You
you're
bet
gonna,
someone can't supersede that. Make a phone call to Des Moines or.
I do believe Morning Sun Ambulance will be here today. He's banging on the table because gave money to Louisa County Ambulance, and potentially Wapello might get a new one, and he wants to know why he isn't getting any money, and
They just got a increase.
that ain't enough. He wants to know why he had to re-put his how would they call that? Refurbish or whatever his ambulance, and he had to pay for all that. He wants to know why he can't be reimbursed for that.
Johnny got a new bike, but not everybody gets a new.
I understand that. He's gonna be here today.
And the call volume don't warrant like now.
He's gonna wanna know, and
Six calls a month on the
I understand that. But he'll be here. He said he was gonna come today, it's just so you know, you're not getting blindsided and why he's gonna be here.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah. So it went well. We got another meeting in 2 weeks, would be April 10th. I think it's 10th. Yeah, 10th, Monday the 10th. So I'll have more to report. I'm hopefully by April 10th we have a number. And then we can start fine tuning it. So, yeah.
And once that number comes in, maybe look at what we can do outside the box, what we've been doing to make that number maybe go down a little bit.
Well, I told him, I said, just had a commercial property tax assessment and somebody's still salty about that. And I
Two of us in the room.
explained it to them. They were a little taken back by that. I said, residential one's coming. So it's gonna be awfully hard. It's gonna be awful hard to
She
throw
told
more
us at our
tax on
meeting,
people.
last meeting, that ag was gonna be the next.
It's gonna be hard to throw more tax on people. I think the emergency services is important, the ambulance is very important, but there's a limit.
And I wonder if we can set it up, how we do the fire department, Plymouth Junction area, and how the funding on that, and that's what I'm kind of wondering too, if we can look at that redistricting and everything to kind of things make sense.
Well, that's the next thing. They wanted some information, and I have to go to Sandy, I guess, on the districts, and they want to know the population of each district
Right.
and the property tax of each district, and to find out what's going on and how. One of the big things is if it's a big if this tax is voted on and it passes, how is it divided up? Equitably, because each and every department has their own idea and their own agenda. And one thinks they're more important than the other, and one thinks, there's
a lot of pride.
It's our job to figure out how to do it equitably, and if they don't like it, then that's just too bad.
Well, I don't know who to talk to, but it can also be done through income taxes.
Yeah, we had that discussion and that wasn't very well received. So. I don't know.
What if you don't have an income?
Well, in the state trying to get away from income tax.
That's our goal.
Yeah, so I don't know how that works.
It might be short term.
Yeah,
Probably will be.
yeah,
It's
so,
like
But it's
50 states that
it's
don't
like
have
sales tax, the fair way to pay for that service.
well, and I had one citizen call me and wasn't very happy about the potential tax. He felt that each run should be charged, a fee should be charged to that individual. Now, if it's a bloody nose and you show up and there's no transport, it's still $250. So, well, that's great, but that doesn't mean you always collect. If you're going to Woodland Trailer Park for a bloody nose,
We'll go back.
you're gonna turn them upside down and shake their pockets out to,
Well, some people just don't have it.
right, and they don't have a home, they're transient. You're gonna spend a lot of time trying to track them down.
And being involved in emergency services, you don't want to have people not call you because they don't have financial and then.
They run into that problem. I know,
And that's where I think it's something that we have to get it balanced out.
well, yeah, I don't,
You're on our track.
you're not gonna please everybody. This is not gonna please everybody. We gotta look at the big picture, and even dividing it up equitably is not gonna be,
No.
somebody's gonna be upset about how this is done. I guarantee you that. Yes,
The fire districts, like the fire departments have different. I don't wanna call them tiers, what is it? Cause like I live in Toolsboro. And. If Oakville comes. It affects our home taxes or our home insurance, excuse me. Is that something the ambulance can, if they go to this certain
ditch area.
district, it would,
I know fire does it because of the ability to get water and
Okay.
downage.
Okay.
That's how that's
Okay.
insurance.
That'd be
Okay.
quite an accounting nightmare, I would think.
yeah, I was just,
I don't know how many calls, a year, 400 calls a year, each place.
How many of our ambulance locations that they can make it to any resident, even in a block away, less than 4 minutes? The answer is probably 0.
It takes them a certain amount of time to get.
Well, the
to
dispatcher
station.
has to go through
Yeah.
it, get the information,
Yeah.
and about time to get there. So if
Yeah.
you're looking at a 4 minute, that's the reason I'm using 4 minutes. 4 to 5 minutes is when your heart is how long they got to resuscitate you back normally.
Right.
But so, yeah, the best thing is once you get there, provide them the best exceptional care that can be
Yeah,
provided.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and there's a lot of layers to this, so we're slowly chipping away at it. Hopefully we'll have some info soon, so.
Did you have any meetings, Brad?
Yeah, I met with basically about the same thing, but it was through the trustees on, won't mention names, but they just purchased a fire truck. They're up to 450,000.
Wow.
They don't know how long they can continue to do this.
Yeah.
It pretty much empties their coffers out when they do this. So we have another problem coming up against us down the road because things are just, like Wample's looking at a ladder truck and a used ladder trucks.
No.
600,000-700,000 anymore. And when we first started out, they thought it was around 5, but everything just went up so damn high. And the new ones are 1 to 2 million. So it just, where are we going, the direction. So that was kind of interesting to sit down and talk to them. And I get where they're going at. The same thing Sean's going to start going through is,
Yeah.
funding. Met with Lynn Wiley again on a transfer station, just trying to work through some stuff and we got trying to get some prices. We got a wall that the loader is so powerful it's taking concrete away. So we're gonna try to get that done as soon as it warms up.
What about the handrail?
I got them done. I'm just waiting on weather to straighten out a little bit. I'll do that myself and just put them up. But they're all made up and sitting alongside the weld shop. What else was there? There was something else. Had a Southeastern Regional Planning meeting last week. I'm gonna try to, there's some opportunities for some projects in the area that we're gonna try to go after for some funding and
Well, that's original.
yeah. But there's some things we're working on. Windows, I never did get them pictures on them windows of the weep holes. If you can send them.
Oh, I probably forgot to.
Because I want to send them out and get them to get that fixed. As soon as possible. Morning.
How's the tuck point coming?
I don't know. I seen them over there working in the morning. I went over and walked around. I could see some of it they fixed. And I've seen some of it they haven't. So I don't know how percentage wise, how much are done, but it looks like they're curl on the north side now.
Was it bad?
There was a lot of, our bricks were starting to crumble because the moisture getting into the grout. It was needed, the whole corner up there on the east side. That I noticed that there was like an 8 brick area where it was outlined with a crack. It's, how old is that building? It was 1920. So it's
approaching
probably
100 years old.
Yeah.
28,
Yeah.
I think, or something.
So it's,
When was the last time it was tuck pointed, you know?
We did it, I'm gonna say 10 years ago.
it was before my time. I think it was a parapet wall that you did the tuck pointing on, not the whole building, was it?
No, the east and south side, I know we did.
Okay. Because I know the parapet wall, because the roof leaked, what'd you say, 15 years?
Oh. According to Ed Hickle, the roof always leaked.
Okay. And they fixed the parapet wall in the center, because it was gathering moisture into it, bringing it down in the building. And they got that all taken care of before I came on, but the roof looks good. Have you ever been up on the roof? You go up the attic and you go out the little side door, you can walk out onto it.
Rubber membrane,
Yeah, it's got a pretty good system on
is
it.
it ballasted? That's rock? No,
No,
no rock or anything.
I don't think there's any.
Just
rock.
rubber, okay.
But, and I forget how much insulation
Mhm.
is been put on there through different roofs through the years.
Probably still in, where the heat goes.
And I think it's. It's a
Okay,
corner anyway.
I had a southeastern Iowa detention service meeting Friday. They just can't get guards. They only have 12 to 14 inmates because they just can't get guards. They could, best case scenario, they could hold 21. Just can't hire guards.
Who's that?
The juvenile detention.
Oh,
center.
Julie. Okay.
And they've been fighting it for darn near a year, really.
You know what their pay is?
No, that wasn't. That's something everybody recommended, but no. And approved their budget for the year and. That's about it for that. Okay, have you seen the special claim, Brad?
No.
For the health insurance?
Wonder why they haven't got that, we had that problem last quarter too, that they get synchronized and they do a special approval. You know what's happening on that? We used to hit it.
We can do that
Yeah.
in between here.
Oh, yeah.
Number 12.
Talk to you about it later.
Okay. Number 4, I'll make a motion to we approve, Sean, you've seen this, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Approve the special claims for March 28, 23 in an amount of 102,249.48. It's on health insurance and life insurance, both claims. That's my motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and that is, signs still delivered.
That's in the payroll change.
We had one payroll change, which was an employee that left the treasurer's office here a week ago. So that brings us down to number 8, update on the Woodland Trailer Park. I guess so. It is. What can you tell us?
Well, everything's been cleaned up. The guy who gave me the information for him to do the roads hasn't responded. Called
Okay.
him several times, left messages. So, I don't know if he doesn't want to do it, I'll just have to do it myself. I just have a tinier tractor.
You can see the improvements in the ditches. It definitely is. I noticed that the day you guys finished up and went out
So
there.
about next door, it doesn't seem like anything's been done about the house next to our park that's dumping oil and God knows what right into the creek. Doesn't look like it's been cleaned up even a little. Looks like they poured more stuff right down the same hole.
The big two-story house on the corner?
Yep, one right right before the park.
It's first we heard about it.
Yeah.
Well, it was me, when I was with Brian and we did the inspection 2 or 3 Fridays ago. He pointed out to Brian was gonna hand it off to the DNR.
I didn't know anything about it.
Well, Brian's in Texas, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's coming back, he'll be back here pretty soon.
This week, I think.
I had a phone call from the superintendent a week or so ago, not a phone call, an email. Was concerned that he's seen 10 children leave the school district that had lived out there. And that they had,
Yes,
so
they moved.
he,
They didn't pay their rent and
He asked.
forever and they left.
okay, he asked and I told him that I would ask.
You'd think they would have transferred them into a new school would be. Right, but we had a family out there that didn't put a kid in school for 2 years and no one did anything about it. Right, in 2020, I had a family that was squatted in the house. They put one kid on the bus every day and another kid, we can't send that kid to school because of COVID. And the cop showed up several times and was reported by several people and nobody did anything about that. Right, we're probably more than 10. I had 2 or 3 households that had to leave. They weren't paying and their kids. Too many kids. Didn't know how they were made or something.
Right.
Right?
I thought I'd ask. It's a big deal to the school when they lose that many kids, so.
What happens when parents don't pay their bills?
Understand?
What else we got going on up there? Everything, you said you're gonna get the driveway bladed.
I've been trying to get somewhere with a bigger blade. I have a teeny little blade and I'll do it, and a month later it'll need it again.
Yeah.
So. That's the goal, working on putting together a house for my kid to go out there, and then I'll just park my trailer or my tractor out there.
Like I said, I seen a definite change from when we had that meeting to now, but I mean, there's always improvements, but. We did what we asked and,
The water situation's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
The water situation's the same as you've got in
It's
this
on.
county, but it's at least on. Either they got a more accurate way to test water or they changed their standards. So it's like right there at the cusp of anyone under 6 months old shouldn't drink it, but. You know,
Was it a new well or
existing,
existing well? Did he shock it? Is that what he did?
yeah, we pulled them, we pulled the whole pump and they poured a bunch of acid down there and cleaned it all up best as they can do. I'm just concerned the water table's dropped. So.
Okay.
That's the whole issue, working on getting financing to figure that out. If it happens again, like we've already cleaned the screen, so if it goes out again, there's. So we gotta get somebody to either dig a new one or go down deeper with the one that's there. And that wouldn't be a quick fix.
Understand.
Have any other issues with my park?
Not that I know
Okey dokey.
thanks for coming in.
of. Yes.
Thanks for keeping her cleaned up.
Put your headlights on.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's blinded.
That'll
Blinded by the light.
work out. Yeah. Real quick.
Bad, wasn't he?
You'd be interrogated. Yeah, get it. Still got.
Looks like Tom's gonna be on number 6.
I don't think he liked answering the questions, did he?
He never does.
Too damn bad.
Oh, heck, I should have got my.
No, we've been having time. He's pretty evasive.
It's too bad. Keep your part.
Okay. Let's go back up to public input and see what Tom's got to say.
Well, I just came to see if by any chance we had talked about paying me back for the ambulance that we had remounted in one meeting, and I guess I left and thought that was how we were gonna do it, but
When was that done?
I don't remember what meeting it was.
No, when was the ambulance remounted?
Oh, in 2017. But the reason we had to have it remounted was we had a motor problem, had there was a 5.0 liter diesel Ford motor, I think it was. It had all the problems.
A 6-0.
Well, it was six,
6.0.
yeah, 6. But we had taken it to Meitzer's, spent $6,000 on it. Got it back, and I think we probably had 4 runs, 5 runs maybe. Took it back to Meitzer's, another $14,000. He said, I can't guarantee it's gonna hold. So we started back again, same thing. Told me another $10,000 and he still couldn't guarantee the thing, so that's when we decided to quit dumping money in, so we spent almost $125,000 to remount. Simply because we couldn't afford a new ambulance. Well, we went through that last night, so you know what.
Yep.
Is, and
They're not getting any cheaper.
so. That time, it would have lasted long enough, I could have got the building paid off, now we've been having paying both of them. So, we've been operating the black for probably the last 5 years, so. I'd like to see if there's any chance.
So this is in 2017, you want us to go back 5-6 years?
Well,
I have a hard time, if it was a year ago or 6 months ago and something, I would probably be willing to look into it. But 6 years, I'm not, it's.
so you're willing to let us go bankrupt because
Are you going, you said you was in the black?
we have, no, I said we're in the red, if we can get this money,
Oh, you said black.
we can operate in black, I apologize for that. No, we've been operating last 5 or
We
6
just
years.
increased your monthly
Yeah, I know, but that's not.
without anybody
that's not-
asking for it. Well, what do you want us to do?
Well, you got this rescue money, I'd like to see, be able to.
No, this is not what we're paying out of, we're paying it out of the.
No, you're paying the
I think it's the loss. Don't we use the
It's
loss?
lost, it ain't out of the
Local option sales tax.
Okay,
If I missed it.
So you didn't know I knew what count it was, but you know, 6 years going back, and just saying something about it. I'm not good with that, Tom.
you sat right here in a meeting. And we talked about that. When we were talking about Waplo,
Did we have any money then?
Waplo,
We didn't have the lost account, we didn't have any. of
you,
that.
it was the rescue,
We didn't get that till 2021.
I understand that. But that's what that money is supposed to be spent for is like. You can pay it on ambulances and stuff like that.
That's 6 years ago. Don't shake your head at me. I'm asking you a question. You know, you're coming in and asking for something and I'm trying to do a rebuttal at you.
I know you're the one though, Brad, that said that probably can look into. Paying Morning Sun back. I didn't. Waplo needs an ambulance. They came in, you're gonna give them close to $300,000. New ambulance.
255.
I went, okay, 255. I didn't come in here and ask for any money because we had trouble even getting our budgets raised or anything for years. So I didn't come in here and ask for it. I went to the bank and had to borrow the money. Now I gotta pay it off. I'm just asking for a little help.
But you want us to pay a bill 6 years old. Go something current. Don't keep turning like it, Sean. Look at me. This deal here, if you need money on it, be honest with us. Show us what you need it for, but I don't want to go back 6 years and pay for a bill. If you need help on other things, we can do something.
Yeah, I need help on money. I've been,
Show me.
Morning Sun's been shorted
Show me
every
where you need
fall.
help.
the time I started this ambulance, Brad, in 1986.
Mhm.
I came over here when Pierce was giving it up and asked the supervisors if we could get some help on the training and that stuff. Nope, couldn't do it. I had to borrow money for the second mortgage on my house, get the ambulance, get the training done for the people. A year and a half later, Wapello and Junction, they came in here. When they took over, asked for money, they got all their training money, everything. I came back over and said, can I get, nope, can't do that.
We loaned him 150. We loaned him.
No. In 1986,
This is 40 years ago.
Oh,
in 1986, this is what I'm talking about.
I don't know about this.
Okay. From the very start, we've been on the low end of the thing. It costs me as much to run an ambulance, operate an ambulance as it does either one of the other services. My insurance on the people, all that stuff is the same. They've always got probably $10,000 a year more than I have.
Now, I know you don't like this argument, but they do run a lot more calls than we.
I know they run a lot more calls
So,
and they make a lot more money.
sometimes. Sometimes,
What do you mean sometimes?
sometimes.
If you figure the amount of runs they
How
have,
far are you in the red right now?
I've been in the red for 60, I'm probably, well, my 130, I'm about $135,000.
Last physical year, what was the?
12,000 or that,
Louisa County ambulance is 150,000. I mean,
yeah, but they're paying four
I'll
people.
bet you they'd love to trade places right now.
Have
I'm
you-
not arguing with you, I'm having a debate and.
To do our job for the taxpayers, we gotta ask these questions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know you
Hard
do.
questions.
Always like it.
The difference in whether, if I could get the money, I could start operating in the black. But this way, I'm gonna be operating in the red forever. I'm never gonna get out. Waco pays their people to be on call. There's no way in the world. I'm losing money. I can't pay my people to be on call, so.
And what makes it even more, have you ever made a profit?
Yeah, back years ago, before we had the
I mean,
ambulance.
lately, have you made a profit? See, it's,
No, that's what I just said. Probably the last 7 years,
see,
I've been in the,
we only see half your books.
no, you don't, you still own one.
We see anything that's, only thing we see is what is part of our money that we give
Nope.
you. We see
You
that part.
see on my sheet,
It's a whole thing.
the whole thing,
Sometimes when you're on vacation, I see something different.
when I'm on vacation,
Yeah, I've seen it before where it's been a different setup.
not me, not from the last 2 or 3 years.
When was the last one we got?
It was just a couple of weeks ago,
That's
but
why I
it's
was
stayed
going
in
through
the
my
folder
stuff.
and went back. So we don't.
I might have a picture of it.
I was going through my pile here to see if I could find it.
Yeah, just to go back 7 years, you gotta come back with something more, more talks about, day to day. Cause I'm 103. I'm not going back 6 years to pay for something to happen. I don't care if you like it or not. That's just
I
what
know.
I'm saying.
I know, but I just,
Can't do it. But if you have operation problems day to day, come in here and talk about it, bring your books in and we'll sit down and go through it. Then maybe something can be done. I'm not guaranteeing it. But we at least got to look at it. But to come in here and ask us to go back 6 years, I'm just. Because you're a private business. It'd just be like me coming in here and say, hey, you know what? COVID killed my business.
this is what irritates me about this whole thing. You keep going on and on that we need to turn it over to the city of Morning Sun. Both city of Wapello and the city of Junction are both struggling with this. Why should the taxpayers of Morning Sun end up having to pay? We don't know whether this bond or the tax thing's gonna pass or not. And if it doesn't, everybody's in trouble.
We agree. We can
But-
agree on that one.
Yep, we're free.
You're right.
The reason is because of the ability to bill differently if it's a government controlled,
It's true.
that's why.
Yeah, but my billing doesn't be that much more. We don't have near as many runs. But the problem is Junction jumped right into that. They got Junction into jumping right in. They didn't have all their ducks in a row before they jumped right in.
We know
That's
that.
why they're having the problem they're having now.
They're just now starting to sort it out.
Yeah,
Took them a year to figure it out. We know that. They don't want to admit it, but we know that.
yeah. So
I don't know if it'll be a complete fix to their problem, but it'll definitely help.
I don't know, even if we fix it, an ambulance is not gonna be a problem.
I don't think so either.
well, no,
That's
but it'd be nice to at least be able to break even.
like saying the fire departments. Will bill make money, you're never gonna make money on them, you're never gonna make money on the ambulances, because there's so many calls that you have to write off.
Yeah.
There's no way, if you got paid on every call, different story.
Yeah, I get $133 on most times on a Medicaid call. About half the time, and you can't bill them any more money. I know we talked last night about somebody talking to you about billing for every,
Yeah,
nosebleed or whatever. You can't do that.
yeah, we just talked about that this morning.
So,
I think if you're struggling on there, we have to have another meeting, or bring it in, but as far as, this is Brad saying it. I'm not willing to go back 6 years,
okay,
that's me.
Well,
The other
we're
two
gonna,
guys-
we're gonna have updated budgets because I requested it from them for this tax.
yeah, I'm working on my budget and Sean, and that it's the difference between losing money every year. For being able to operate, put some money away for an ambulance.
Get us the updated budget so we can sit down and we can look at it.
Yeah, but that's not gonna do me any good, because if this doesn't pass,
All of them are in the same boat you are.
yeah, I know.
That it doesn't matter if it's Wapler or Plymouth Junction. Some are worse than others, but. This is a sticky situation here. This is the difference between picking up the phone and dialing 911 and the ambulance might not show
Yeah,
up.
and that's the one thing. you
That's
gotta
the thing we gotta
get
get out.
people to explain.
I understand that this is. People don't think about emergency services, whether it's the police, fire, or the ambulance, until they need it. It's one of them things that's just forgotten about. But when they pick up the phone, they go, boy, I sure, in that 4 minutes or 5 minutes or 7 minutes, whatever it takes for those people to arrive. I've been on that end of the phone.
Yeah,
It is forever.
yeah.
And when you start hearing the sirens come down the road, the anxiety level goes down just a little bit, but it's bad.
But don't you have the rescue money that,
Lost.
That's what they're using for the.
yeah, I know. But the rescue, you
Fund.
still,
That's a total different situation for ambulances. I mean, that's not what we've used for ambulances. Lost is set up. We just set that up on its sales tax. We set that up once we paid off the sheriff's office, the
so what are you using the rescue, American Rescue money?
buildings, working on buildings,
Repairs and maintenance.
maintenance, capital projects that we wouldn't have money to do.
Yeah, but in the American Rescue, you can use it on ambulance.
But did you get any American Rescue money when?
No, we don't get any. We don't get any.
As a business, you probably could.
Well, I got a PPP, but
Yeah, did you get?
little bit, it's not enough to make any difference.
Yeah.
I lost probably 35, 40 runs a year out of the care center simply because they won't call the ambulance because they lost 19 people or whatever during COVID.
Hmm.
They don't like anybody in the care center other than people that work there, and most of them sometimes carry it in there too, so. But that really hurt the ambulance business when over there. That's probably over $10,000 a year. at least maybe 15. That I had lost, because I think last year we had 3 runs out of the care center, and I think this year we've had maybe 5. So
How
far,
many staff, how much staff do you have?
14 people.
14? Including yourself?
I'm still on call. It's hard to find anybody who wants to do this
Dude, I know.
kind of thing, and like
Talk
I
to that
say,
guy about finding people. You know, it's just, it's everywhere, even my business, it's just, there's no people
Yeah.
there. And we just had a thing this morning about juvenile detentions, and they can't find anybody for that.
oh, yeah,
I mean, they could house more
Inmates, if they could
inmates if
get
they had more
guards.
people, and enough guards. Sometimes it isn't a matter of money, you keep throwing money at stuff, but there's no people there, there's no
my
people there.
son's, he hired people out here at Spencer's, and they just, what people you can find don't
Well,
want to work.
and that's what I was trying to indicate last night at this meeting is the tax thing, just throwing money at stuff doesn't fix the problem. We have to fix, Columbus Junction, have to fix their little internal problems and whatnot before we just start throwing money at it. Because you get used to that money. And then you still have the problems. It just masks.
Yeah,
That's the federal government's way of fixing a problem, is just go throw a bunch of money at
We
it.
don't have the money to throw.
Well, I know, and I'm just saying, it doesn't. fix
my
it.
problem is that just. The
Well,
further
the
I get
tax,
behind, the worse.
money we have is the taxpayers' money, and we want it to be used smartly, not just,
Yeah,
here, son, here's another 20
Yeah.
bucks, go fill your tank up with gas.
Right.
We want to do it.
well, I spent over $36,000 on just interest on the ambulance since we remounted it, so,
Give us an updated budget. Let's look at it.
yeah, I know, I'm getting,
I'll share it with these guys. Of course, I need the budget for something else, but I'll share it with these guys. And we'll see where we're at.
yours. Estimating, right? That's Louisa County, your email, Sean.
Main@Louisa County.
IA.
IA.gov. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you don't have it, just holler, I'll get it.
Yeah. I can remember, I think, I can't remember.
If not, you can call over to Celia. Or-
Yeah. Okay,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's do that Class C.
I'll make that motion. Approve the Class C alcohol license to Conesville Event Grounds.
Is that the Depot out there? Is that what it is? Or?
We haven't had any issues out there since the rodeo quit, have we?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Is that the?
That's what used to be the rodeo.
Oh, it's yeah,
I just never heard it called Conesville Event Grounds. before.
it's, I can't think of
The drag
Yeah,
area.
it used to be Thunder and the Sand, it used to be, but it's, must be a new name, corporation name. Okay, yep, I'll
I don't
second
know
that.
what their events called.
I never heard it called Conesville Event Grounds before.
I don't know if we've had any calls out there. Recently.
It was lit a little.
Okay, we got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, well, that we're plenty early, we might have to interrupt you in 5 minutes to open up a public hearing, but go ahead, Brendan.
So, the 28, he went to school last night, it did pass, completely pass. So that part's taken care of, they do have 2 copies signed. The only thing, they did make a note on here that they change, strike principal and insert superintendent as a designee. But obviously I have no issue with that. So they did sign that last night. They do have 2 copies here, and then I do have the 28 agreement. For the city of Columbus Junction in Louisa County for their payments. I asked that a representative show up today to sign that on their behalf. Nobody's here. I guess I'll have to try to take it over there to try to get it signed if you guys want to pass it.
And we did have it down 9:30, so
Yeah,
maybe they're just not here yet, so.
So we can, I'll wait.
What does our part come to on that, Brandon?
Anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 a year.
And do you have money in your budget right now to handle that?
No, we're gonna have to do very similar to what we did last year to do an amends on the next budget.
I think the first year is some startup costs, so it's a little higher the first year and then it drops off.
Well, I just want to make sure if we had to do a budget, if we had money in there, we was.
But
good
we're
for this year.
getting 10, well, 15 the first year from Columbus.
15 the first year,
And then
$10,000
10,
each year after.
they're paying us. We have an agreement with Columbus.
Yeah.
And then we have another agreement with the school.
3 or 5 years.
This is for 5 years.
Okay.
So
Because originally we talked in 3.
I mean, we originally talked for 7 for some reasons, so so we don't have to let anybody go in the future.
Yeah.
But it is set up for 5.
Okay.
It is, another deputy is gonna retire in 5 years, so for instance, if it can't be financially set, there would be a mixture of 1 person in 2 schools, if last resort type thing. But the initial cost for the squad car, sending somebody to the academy, all the equipment associated, computer, desk, just about anything you can imagine starting up with a brand new person. Now, if we hire somebody certified, those costs could be lower, but then your wages are gonna be higher. If we hire somebody single, you save about $11,000. If you hire somebody married, you're going up to $20,000. If we can get a used vehicle, a very nice vehicle, we might do that. I am on a list. But if not, then we're going to have to get another squad because we just don't have an extra squad for another person right now. All those costs are included in there, and CJ approved all those costs in their budget. We had to take more or less the highest budget number and say, you need to set it at this number. This is the worst case scenario. If everything comes in lower, that's great. But I can't, until we hire somebody, figure out their situation, figure out what we're gonna pay, what's approved, figure out what kind of vehicle we have, options, which are very limited right now. We don't know what the actual number would be. So that would be when we need to amend it, just like last
Readily
year.
available.
Uh,
Pickups are readily available.
one,
Yeah.
we got one because it was a demo. That's the only reason we got it.
Nephew said they're releasing pickups like.
They're getting pickups out and we have our name on another one. Other than that, we've been waiting on a Durango since August and it's not even built yet.
Yeah.
So we're hurting for vehicles right now.
Okay, this goes in effect, their budget is theirs also July 1st?
Yes.
So when do you plan on August school year?
I
Or
would try to have that person in there, but this is really dependent on who we hire. If it's
Yep.
somebody that's fresh, they're gonna have to go to the academy.
Right.
And they might not be in the school until January. If we hire somebody on the road or that's already certified, they will be in the school in August. So if this is approved today, if we get all the signatures, we'll start to hire the whole month of April into May. And hopefully have somebody in uniform on June 1st. So it will, some of the finances will be into this fiscal year.
Okay.
The rest is into July, and Columbus Junction's payments start on July 1st. So the school and we will have to start taking some of those costs if we start in June.
in August, you're gonna have somebody in that school, no matter if you have somebody in the academy?
No, they won't be in the school. If we have somebody in the academy, we do not have personnel to pull somebody from the road to put them in there.
Kind of a gray area in my book, but yeah.
It's, yeah, it is. We're not gonna charge 2 wages, if that makes sense. It'd just be the wages for that person who's going.
could have got this all buttoned up
I know.
several months ago,
I know.
but a lot of people were dragging their feet and we had
But
lots
we're
of
committed on
questions and
protection, so.
I
Yeah, especially
I get
especially after yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening.
It's the same story over and over again.
if we can't protect our kids, what are we doing here?
There's a lot of mental health issues.
There absolutely is. And we keep having to deal with this, but we need to protect the ones that can't protect themselves, which are the children.
And that's why we're behind you.
So it's, I understand this and I appreciate this, and I know it's a city of Columbus Junction, and I know the jurisdictional responsibility, but.
It's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do. And it does cost.
Comes
money.
down to it.
It costs a lot of money to do what we do. It absolutely does. There's no doubt.
Risk reward.
You also want the right person in there, you just don't want to
No.
throw somebody in
You're
there
absolutely
that
correct. If
the
we,
kids don't respond.
if we go through hiring, we don't like the candidates, we don't approve the candidates, then we'll start over again. But, you know, we try to get somebody in there as soon as possible, but again. We did good with two of our picks, Cody and Greg, L&M and Wapello. Can we get another one? I sure hope so.
You've done
But
pretty good. so
we'll try.
Let's open up our public hearing. We're a couple minutes late.
Make a motion to open public hearing,
Second,
23 budget amendment.
second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent, good job.
We're almost there, you know.
So you need us to sign something today?
Two of them, I think I sent them out to you guys. Hopefully you reviewed everything. Like I said, the only change was made to one word in it, which makes no bearing anything in it. And then the city's agreement there, I just need your signature on it. I think just your signature on it.
Sean, you want to do that?
I'll make the motion to sign the 22080 agreements between the city of Columbus and Louisa County. And also the Columbus Junction School and Louisa County.
I'll second that.
Or the school resource officer, sorry.
Okay, we got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Good job getting that done.
Thank you.
Didn't know it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen eventually. But I was hoping it would happen earlier if we get somebody hired.
I would
It's
love,
way in
I would have
school.
loved to get that person into the April academy if they would have been new, and then we would have had no struggle, but we'll deal
It's
with it.
okay.
Pray to God nothing happens in our
I'm glad
county.
we're here.
And it still is covered by Columbus Junction. It is, absolutely. But you know, it's not that full-time person there in the school.
Yeah. Happened too much.
Yeah, we don't want to have that happen. That would be a pretty dark day in this county.
Mm.
So,
A pretty dark
and it
recently
would not
anyways.
only just affect that school, but it would affect all the other schools in the
affect-
entire county.
A child's life and
Oh,
adult's
boy.
life the rest of their lives.
Can't even imagine.
A lot of people say, well, don't talk about it. Well, we are talking about
Yeah.
it. We're doing something
Yeah,
about
we
it.
have to talk about it, and these
You got a plan for the
these
work.
trainings that they do in the school, and we start training next week with lawful ambulance at the school.
Yep.
We have to talk about it, we
Yeah.
have to be ready for it, we have to deal with it, and it stinks.
You can't bury your head in sand and be.
Especially, but if you practice, then it's gonna work out better if something ever does happen.
Absolutely.
Nope.
So it's sad that we have to do that.
Yeah, I remember we was
Really?
talking about this many people that group here when we grew up. They forced us to get inside. You got grounded sometimes to get inside. You don't have to worry about kids outside. It's
Yeah.
different. Well,
Different, yeah.
There's a signature
You know, need,
for her to sign as well.
well, it'd have to be Sandy though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I guess it does.
it is.
Is this our copy to take back?
Well, I'll need copies of all those. The school wants one of the copies. And then it will need, and Sandy knows that it will need to be filed with the state.
So it hasn't been signed by the sheriff yet?
No.
Should we just keep that here in case somebody shows up?
Yeah, if you want to, and then I do not have Houston's phone number.
I do.
However he wants to come over, if he wants to come over here and sign it, if he
Or
wants
you
me
can run it
to, if
to
he
him.
wants me to run it to him.
Sounds good.
Well, I
It has to
can,
be signed in front of a notary, the Columbus Junction mayors, it says.
Is
So-
Julia notary?
should be.
Yeah. we should.
Heindel?
Pardon?
Julie Heindel, is she a notary?
I'm a notary as well, so if they want to, you just call me back and I can sign it. However you want to do it, just.
Okay, yeah, I'll give this to Cindy and.
Did the discussion about what would happen, you know,
Yes.
you're aware of talking to Mr. Peterson?
Yeah, I brought it up to him. He was a little defensive when I said something to him, and he indicated that they weren't paying their rent and he kicked them out, right? The kids,
That's what kind of took it.
They weren't paying their
He
rent,
didn't say it right.
basically what he said, and I'm like,
Was there
wow.
17 kids in one house.
Well, I
Must
heard,
have been.
I heard 10. And
Well, he said more than 10 people, probably, kids probably left the trailer for.
he
Yeah.
he wasn't very happy this morning. He was a little grouchy.
I've never. Seen. He's very defensive.
A
That's
bit,
the developer.
a bit combative, I felt, but you know. Asked him about the water quality and he didn't. Really have a good answer, other than you get what you get, the way I took it.
Does DHS
Yeah.
get involved when there's 17 kids in a house?
Not unless there's a report made of it and there's conditions. that are-
Well, if they're homeless, they don't get involved if they're homeless, if they were kicked out with their parents.
Not that far.
Well, he deflected those answers basically being, well, you know, there was a time when one kid went to school and the other one and they didn't do anything about it. Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
Deputies
That's
came
great,
out.
you just didn't answer the question.
Yeah, he kept changing.
You're
the
changing the subject.
I could probably talk about it for an hour, but it. Number one, the conditions stink out there. Number two, we're out there a lot. There's a lot of addictions, there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of people unhappy that report to our office, and a lot of the issues are civil. Is something they should consider talking to an attorney about together as a group.
Unhappy about what?
The conditions, unsanitary conditions, sewer, water conditions.
Still being recorded.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
It's true fact.
Well, we need to know, we need to know.
Yeah, these
So
are all,
that we
these are
can
all,
make
these are documented on call reports.
And I'm upset. I talked to the DNR when this thing happened in December, I think it was anyway, and they said that they only have a few tests and they're handcuffed, and I said, that's not right. I said, if the water, especially now, I just found out that the water quality is for anybody 6 months and older.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was shocked when I heard that.
Yeah, that was the first I heard this.
Oh, my
And if I wouldn't
God.
have asked about the water, that would have
Oh.
never been
I
voluntary.
don't know if he meant to say that. I'm looking at him like, oh my God.
First, then he deflected the answer on his neighbor that he's throwing stuff in the creek.
So there's-
And I did not know anything about it.
There's a lot of issues out
I
there.
didn't. Yeah, I did.
A lot
I
of-
know he was looking at you.
Well, and it's a transient population, sorta, so you're gonna expect a little bit of in and out, but
Sure.
We need trailer courts, but we need nice trailer courts.
I agree.
Because that's a group out there. I mean, when I first graduated, I lived in a trailer.
It's the same
It's a
concept of
stepping stone.
broken windows theory. The places that are broke down in here in town have higher crime rates.
Yeah.
Higher things happen when there's broken windows, broken places,
Yeah.
broken trailers, and that's what. takes
do we have
place.
any sort of an ordinance on mobile home?
We do.
I know Waplo does, I don't know.
And we keep using this grandfather, but this business switched hands. They're supposed to have, like, for example, concrete lots and driveways. And if you go and look at our ordinances, but they say, well, his grandfather, we got it.
Well,
we gotta
if
fix
if
this.
it's sold and
He bought it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that-
transfer, a
that-
family member,
that-
but it was a
that's,
transfer.
yeah, that's not,
There's not supposed to be any RVs in any of our mobile home
it's
parks.
the same
To
way as
answer your
down,
question earlier, yes.
We need to go through.
it's the same way as downtown Waplo.
Yeah.
We can
that's
change
what-
The ordinance was changed, you can't have lower level residents anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they're there until that property changes hands. As soon as that property changes hands,
Yeah,
you
we need
can't
to
have it
enforce
anymore.
And this property changed hands.
Well,
Basically, it was family, but it changed hands. But we need to look at and maybe look at rewriting some of our. ordinances.
we're gonna have a fight on our hands.
I got gloves.
I'm just telling you,
And
and
that has.
I'm okay with that.
That already has happened. So,
Well, kids are using the cemetery as a park. I go out
Playground.
to visit my folks' grave and there's always kids out there playing. I mean, they're not vandalizing anything, but there's women walking their children. Well, children can't help what their parents.
Yeah.
The situations they put child.
Well, let's look at the ordinance and see what it says. I can only enforce what the ordinance says. And if it's there, then he'll have to come back in here and we'll.
and
have to
yes,
talk.
like I said, a lot of the stuff is civil and a lot of stuff is labeled as civil to us, and then we were saying that you should. move forward and take it to civil court. You know, so a lot of issues are, we think, to be civil. I think.
Out of our other parks, do you have any problems?
What's that?
Our other mobile home parks? that we can-
Sure, your random calls, Louisa Court says, a good amount of calls up
How
there.
about Plymouth Junction?
Well, that's.
Yeah, there was, Fredonia had some yesterday in their park, but nothing.
Is there any way we could get not say a printout, but a ranking of good to bad?
That'd probably be hard to do, but you can request from Kenny, all the calls.
And just say,
that are
hey, you
open to
know,
the public.
That way we have information when he comes in here and say, listen, the sheriff's department has been out there
Yeah, we can pull that. data.
14 times in the last week or
Easily.
500 calls in the last year. It's hard to debate actual information.
Yeah, but my other hat with the school here on the board is that we are losing, I believe the number was 17 students. Take that times the support from the state of 7,500 roughly. That's a lot of money. And now, guess what? To do budget cuts probably next year if those numbers don't.
It's a heck of a lot.
Because of what Peterson's being told, the superintendent, from those families that we can no longer live there because of the conditions. Now, again, that's their statements, and if the owner's saying I kicked them out for this reason, you got conflicting statements here.
That's what he said this morning. I can only go by what
It's 127,500.
Hopefully that's.
You better have a heck
Two
of
or three teachers for.
a preschool class coming in then. So. Put on another hat right now, but that's just those.
We need to
concerns.
address. We protect all wages,
Yeah.
all scales, all residences. We don't have no
Yeah,
bias in between it. I love trailer parks are needed and we'll make
Yeah.
that comment, but we need to make sure that people are living in good conditions.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
That's our job.
Same thing with the other trailer parks in the county too, equally treated.
Absolutely.
The
Thank you.
only
Thank
way
you,
you
guys.
really know is to interview those people that have left and ask them the reason why.
I've been in probably 10 or 15 of them trailers over the years. I see why they left. Yep,
If you'd like that data, I can get it to you.
but whose
I can
fault
get it
is
to you
it?
today.
It's not always the people that own it or the.
That's 100% true too.
I've had rental houses where I've not been happy with the tenants and it's brand new when they moved in.
Absolutely, and that's why contracts are important. That's why looking at some backgrounds on individuals is very
And an inspection once in a while.
absolutely. So
Okay.
that's what I know about it. I can put that data for you.
All we can do is ask questions.
Yep.
So
I'll have Kenny send all the information over
Okay.
today.
that'd be good.
All right, thank you
Thank
guys very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
you. Thanks for your hard work on that.
Yes.
Thanks, Brandon. I'll make sure and get these copies
Okay,
to you.
thank you.
Is that coming?
10 o'clock.
Well, oh, not the pen.
Well, Chris, do you have a tech,
Who was
cell
that?
phone for Adam Shutt?
Yeah.
Can you text him? He was going.
I'll make a motion to close our public hearing.
Second.
You got a motion and second, now we need we need.
Sign
Yeah,
the
all in
resolution.
favor, aye, yes.
Yeah.
And now we need to approve the resolution.
You do the last one, did you, Sean? Or-
I don't know, but I can do this one too. I'll make a motion to accept resolution 202318. Fiscal year 23 budget amendment.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and second. Should I read what the?
Yeah, do you want?
Yeah, the Board of Supervisors does adopt the proposed amendment of the budget on the 28th day of March 2023. Expenditures in the amount of $150,626 for public safety and legal services. $3,100 government services to residents. And $292,000.
Sorry.
166 administration for a total of $691,892. Additional expenditures revenues in the amount of $565,066 intergovernment. Wait a minute, I got lost here.
You lost me.
I know.
Yeah, you're.
691. Additional. It says. Okay, period after the $691,892. Expenditures, revenues in the amount of $565,066 intergovernment. 11,400. 1,500. Charges for services. And 70,000. Use of money and property for a total of $642,566 in additional revenue.
Yep.
Is the resolution. So we're spending $991,892 more, but we've got $642,566 more revenue, so it's about a $50,000 loss. So that's our,
Do we need to all sign that?
yes,
No call for a vote.
and all in favor? Aye. Aye.
We're not supposed to.
Where's Adam at?
I don't know, usually you're pretty quick in the morning.
Yeah.
Got a 5-year plan, I figured he'd have been here.
My thing is they,
Yeah, we can't.
yeah.
We gotta do the last thing.
Okay. Adam's on his way.
Okay, well, save me.
Save the text.
Give me your deep thought, what's your thoughts today?
Look like my regular-
52 degrees today.
You better hurry.
It
Really?
was snowing.
It was 37 on my truck and snow, I'm not going. It's cold.
Welcome to Iowa. I like that school storm we had last week. Thank you. I'm just gonna.
On the next
Thanks so
day.
much. On the next couple hours.
Yeah.
On Saturday, yeah.
Was that Saturday? Yeah.
We actually had trucked out blading, but the fields is bare by 4 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Muscatine got 6, Lone Tree got 6 to 8. We're lucky. I can take a snowstorm like that any day. I do too. It can snow all at once as long as it's melted by afternoon. There you go.
We've been on the
That's
edge
a
of
good rain.
so many snowstorms this year.
We've been really lucky. Been a good year. Yep. Ain't over yet, but. Nope. But,
We only had a week or two that was really, really cold.
yeah, just
And
turned.
that was in December.
Yeah, it was just, I thought, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, snow in December makes you sick, but snow in March kind of.
Scary. Said it was supposed to be a really hot summer this year.
I'll
Mhm.
take it.
The farmer almanac said.
Yep, that's what I've heard.
Bring the heat on.
Of course, they said it was supposed to be a really bad snow winter. too.
Yes, they did, didn't
That
they?
didn't work.
They also say it's not gonna rain and it rains and it snows.
But yet, Twin Cities, there's still 2-3 foot of snow out there too, right now. So people got it.
Look at the California passes.
It's not saying.
Oh, my God.
50
I just
some
can't
feet
imagine
of
that.
snow.
The 50 some feet. of
Donner Pass is incredible.
snow. You can't even
It
blow
was
that.
52 feet, I saw.
Where do you blow it to?
They don't measure inches anymore.
It's all feet. Yeah, when you hear that report, you kind of think, hey, they made a mistake.
Yeah, no, it's inches. No, they show a picture. The ski lift.
The top cables.
Yeah, they're standing right on the cave.
Well, how did they get there? Helicopter? It's the lift couldn't run it then.
No, the chairs were some of them.
No, the chairs are clearing the snow.
Well, we can.
But you
Well,
know,
but like Doug Webb's brother Kevin, it's in my class. He's out there in Colorado, like the loved one pass. He runs the blower that goes up to the top.
They get quite a bit.
And he says it, and he lives up pretty high on the mountain. He says, there's nothing to go bed at night, and wake up in 10 foot of snow.
I can't imagine.
The right storm comes through in the
You
mountain.
have a choice to live there.
Yeah.
And that's where it confuses me, not me. Some people like that weather. I like looking at it on a postcard.
I like this.
I used to like that weather, but I'm liking it less and less.
When you were a little kid, it was fun to go out and play, but now you gotta scoop it, it's too much work. Nothing goes right when it's cold either. All the equipment, nothing works right.
No.
Freezes up, it breaks.
Just to pull up and hook into a snow blade,
Yeah.
on a pickup,
Everything's stiff.
if it's 60 degrees, you can do it in 5 minutes, but if it's 40 degrees, it's gonna take 10 or 15. And you left your gloves in there.
And you smashed your thumb twice.
The meeting that you attended, you said,
Southeastern Regional Planning.
but what was the one with trustees?
Oh, that's just go, that's where the trailer for one day is.
Oh, with trustees,
Muscatine, I don't know.
Oh, that was township.
cemeteries, okay.
It's too bad.
I can't imagine they were all in one trailer. I would imagine it had been 2 or 3 different families, but I don't know.
Selena, Sandy, give me that,
I met
email me
one
one about the.
going to the shop
two
one morning,
townships
he's
we
walking
need
right down the middle of the road.
Oh, Arlen, and I asked her for the other trustees.
12,
Okay.
13.
You know, to get a hold of someone in the township.
Got it away. I told him, well, hate that road. You might want to
You remember the.
think about a
It-
big path or a
Cedar?
walk
Union
path or
and-
something, because they walk into
It's on the
Dollar
road,
General
but-
all the time, up and down that road.
Home
Yeah,
city.
and they go down that road. fast. There's
Yeah,
some people
yeah.
So
getting
you
60
need
down that road.
Yeah.
In each of those.
They all, all the way, they're on the gas, all the way to the turn. The only reason they get off the gas is because they gotta turn.
And their numbers, that way I can call someone and try to find someone.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cause here in a few weeks, I'm gonna get busy, and I ain't gonna have time to chat with them.
yeah.
Everybody's gotta
I'll
have a
email
place
that
to live,
you,
you know, I understand.
Okay.
that, But
Cause we've got a list. of
clutter's
people
one
that
thing, filth
township
is another.
trustees-
This
You just want these to do-
oil out there? Right.
to the neighbor,
Dumping
oil in the correct
what he said, I can't confirm nor deny it. I don't know.
First I heard about it.
First I heard.
He
it.
needs to be hung by his Buster Browns.
Well, somebody said, didn't Kristen, you say he turned into DNR? Dumping stuff in the creek bed?
Brian T was going.
Well, when the DNR stick their teeth in you,
That's criminal.
you don't get it.
To me,
Cause that runs right into the river.
I don't know how, I don't know
Well, that's-
what,
Oh, farm.
it just looked like gray water to me.
Oh.
Like it's a
Are you?
older,
System, yeah.
but
Maybe it left a country.
but Brian was gonna,
Follow
yeah,
up.
and told him that.
Yeah,
You just wasn't here like you normally are.
Well, I keep asking.
we worried about you.
Sleeping in.
No, the agenda was packed at 9:15, 9:30, so I didn't come down. Even though, so Selena, when you're auditor, can you please put me on the schedule?
At 9 o'clock.
Yes, 9 o'clock. Okay,
Yes.
fine. So I don't, my time will push.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah, cause they've done a screw up in the middle of the day meeting, I just like.
No, I was ready to go, you just had other things going on.
Well, you just
Like-
missed
I
all
like
the
it.
action.
Meeting right in the middle of the day, I just, to me,
It's
it's
just like, stay out of the action.
Yeah, meeting's been kind of fiery, you missed a lot.
Well, are y'all warmed up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to go?
No, get out.
That's fair.
how's it going? Excellent, yourself?
All right, that's some snow on Saturday, kind of unexpected.
It was a 3-hour tour, 4-hour tour in the morning, it went quick.
Yeah, I got about 3 or 4 inches of wet, heavy stuff, and by 2:30 or 3, it was like 60 degrees out.
Yeah.
Gone, so that was crazy.
Yes.
So that, so we haven't put our plow equipment away, still got it there, waiting to go, still have some salt left.
Some lights this morning.
Yeah, so. That's going on there up at the Edmondson Bridge there, W66. We got the beams set yesterday. So now they're gonna begin to do the decking to build all the plywood forms and all that. Hopefully pour the deck in a week or two or something like that, so. Progress is happening, so.
You set them with the excavator or crane?
It's Iowa Bridge and they use 2 cranes.
Okay.
Pick up the ends and put it down.
Did the decks come from Mount Pleasant
Yeah.
or the beams?
Beams. Yeah, it's not quite as big of a production as it was out here, but
Right,
you guys remember the couple.
Yeah.
Moving it.
videos of it, yeah.
Yeah, and so. So, that's going on there. Other than that, we're blading and hauling rock in the shop, or hauling rock. We'll be, I think, hauling rock with us this week, and then next week we can get back on and finish up on some tree work and get our excavator back in for servicing, so we can work on pipes here end of the month or in April or something like that. So, next week will be that, following week will be patching and bridge cleaning and all that. So probably for a couple of weeks of April, we'll be having crews out patching holes. And we changed a couple of years ago. We've had an big air compressor blowing out the holes. And we found that if you got mud and water in the hole, if you blow it out first, it works a lot better. So that's the plan for maintenance, I guess. So
Did you meet your gravel goals?
we're doing really well.
Did you meet what you thought you would, Paul?
We're gonna haul about 10,000 tons here this one, so that's pretty good run for us. Pretty good run for us.
You guys got till Friday to haul gravel at the cheap price, and
Yeah.
got trees down legally.
Yeah, well, the trees are already cut down. We just need to burn the finish up and clean up the holes and all that. But I wanted to get the rock on, and the trees can wait for a random week in April or something, so. So anyway, hope to get that done before they get to planting and all that out there, so. So, other than that, rest of it's probably a better plan, this discussion, if you guys are ready for that, or. Okay. Here's a updated worksheet. I always make this worksheet. It's a little bit easier to hopefully read. I always add a bunch of colors because it helps my eyes to see colors, I guess. What's your today?
He's on vacation.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Joel on there. Oh. Hello? Yeah, I'm at a board meeting and I didn't see the thing. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Yeah.
Get some checks.
No, she doesn't. Doesn't have them ready, yeah, so. Okay, so this is the five-year plan. This is required by the DOT to show our construction plans for the next 5 years. Funding for this includes local funding, sales tax, local sources. It includes our farm market monies. It includes any federal grants or anything else, and state grants and all that. This is basically in order to do a technical construction project and spend construction money, it had to be on the 5-year plan. The 5-year plan is not set in stone, right? It's an estimate every year, but it can be changed, revised. I think a couple years ago, we revised and added a project on, or moved one back. It's contingent upon. Funding and other, other things that we can't predict, yeah, a couple years ago. We had a bunch of flooding, right, so we added some projects into the 5-year plan and all that, so.
Well, the road out to Langwood has been on there as long as I've been here.
Well, it's been no longer on there, I mean, I can keep,
Oh, I see there's,
I can keep kicking it,
well, it's been kicked to the curb.
Yeah. I mean, it's on list of things that we would like to do, but
Yeah.
things we're going to do.
Yeah.
I guess it's easy, I don't know if we want to look at the map first, I show in gray the ones that we kind of have done this fiscal year. And we resealed the power plant area roads, we did that crossing down on X61 with the flooding, which might actually help us out this year. We replaced that box out there on Elm Grove. That's a triple tank car that we did out there. We did that trail project, and that's one that we amended the budget or amended the thing for because
The money showed up suddenly.
it showed up suddenly. And then up there in the Grandview bypass projects, the Graydon base project, right, is the one we have let, it's ready to go. Gonna have a pre-con like May. So. That's projects either this year or been done already. Moving into fiscal 24, we have two projects on the agenda there, and both of them are the intersection and paving, or intersection and seal coat work up on the bypass. So I have those budgeted for, well, not planned for $225,000. I think the intersection will be a little bit less. So if you guys look on this other page, this is the expenses portion of it. I have it in there as 150,000. It'd probably be a little bit less. The steel cutting I have for 75, and it might be a touch more there, but if you average those together, that's what I'm expecting. On those projects, I should have the plans for the intersection done, ready for signature next week or the following week. Get them bidded out, and we'll get that done this summer.
Are you gonna use local contractors?
It'll be local, so we will advertise it locally. And we'll cast as wide a net as possible.
Yeah.
But because it's local, you don't have to be DOT certified. All the work though has to be DOT,
Yes.
that level of concrete and
Requirements.
some bars and all that, so. Yep, so gonna keep working on those plans and hopefully get them finished up this week if things go well. So not a lot going on, but we have old construction that we're gonna get finished up and all that, we saw this bridge coming into the year and stuff like that, so. Also gives us a time to kind of recharge up our farmer market. If you look on the budget plan projection worksheet, it says funding, right? So our FM balance, right now, or at the beginning of the year, will be 480,000, which is pretty good. And then we'll take it in another 820 over the year. Okay, but then next year in 2025, we've got a bunch of bridge projects that I'm gonna try to maybe bundle them together, depending on how that goes. And look on the map. They are in the yellow there, the orange yellow. So Union 115, that's at X Avenue Bridge. I've talked about it a couple times. The bridge structure is in pretty good shape, but the back walls are not great. They're old wood and they're rotting, but you can go in and fix them up for 100 grand or something like that, and that'll carry loads and be okay there. So So we're doing that there. We're also doing the same thing down on that Morning Sun 33 Bridge, which is on R.I. Avenue, kind of by Hewitt's. You guys know where that is?
Yeah.
Bottom of the hill down there. That's the same thing. Bridge structure's okay, but the back walls are bad, and frankly, that's gonna happen. 'Cause a lot of these bridges are built in the 50s or 60s. I mean, there's 60 or 70-year old bridges. And then Greenview 99, that's on a dirt road. I've had people asking me to upgrade the road. We aren't there yet, but looking at ways to replace that one. That one is kind of, I would like to do a tank car replacement. That to me, that's a pretty good spot for it. But then with these new environmental regulations, not gonna commit to that yet. So that's one we're still working on there.
Is that the one off G44X?
No, that'd be go out past Indian Creek Port there.
Oh, okay.
There, and that's that dirt road that goes
Yes,
north.
yes.
It gets traffic. The bridge is an real old bad one, so. I'm not as far in design as I am there, but that's a 2025 project, and maybe it becomes a 2026 project or something, but
So. You talk about that environmental regulation, means. Ranger Rick's got environmentalists on us, is it gonna be cheap, are we gonna have to put a bridge in instead of pay the environmental regulation fee?
that is a possibility. That is a possibility.
Wish all the taxpayers knew that.
Well, so, yeah, you know, a tank car, a triple tank car that we did out there. Materials, tanks and all that, we're probably looking at $80,000-$90,000, right? A whole bridge replacement is $300,000,
Right.
so.
What's your environmental?
Well,
You don't know, it's a hidden,
yeah, it could be $3,000, it could be $30,000, so it probably still is cheaper. But it's a pain in it's opening a can of worms, so.
for Henry County was. On that pavement they replaced a bridge with a cement culvert.
Hmm.
Was it like 30
Something like that.
in that range?
Yeah, something like that, so.
Sad.
We've done. Well, so the federal government in its infinite wisdom, right? Decided that a bridge with the creek going underneath it is natural. You're not messing with the character of the stream. But if you replace it with a concrete box or a pipe, right, that destroys the nature of the stream. So basically you take the length of that stream times the width, and that's a certain amount of square foot of environmental catastrophe destruction. They used to make you like fix it, but now basically what you do is you send them a check and they take that money and fix a stream somewhere else. So you're paying all that. It is total.
But can't you sleep better at night knowing that?
Yeah, so
How do you apply for the money that somebody else did, so you can fix your?
Yeah, we've done some reverse stuff on
well, you can be, if there was a person that had some land, if you had a big farm and you had a creek going through, you could create your own business. Get on the DOT and DNR's list. Washington County does a project, they need to restore a stream bank, they give you money, you restore your stream inside of your farm, and therefore you.
You can't get it to put a bridge back in?
No, you have to do an environmental study.
Yeah, it's.
Have the road closed and then fix that and then open it back.
Yeah, so-
Yeah.
Oh, like when we did the approach to the Oakville Bridge, we disturbed like 6 acres of. That kind of ground, so we had to put 3 times that back into.
So,
So along the K Road, that's why there's those swamps and trees that's never grown, and. We even bought a little bit of Jane Haze's to put all this wetlands back
To take it out of taxpayers.
and take it, but it costs. A good down payment on the bridge to do all this.
So that's what's going on there. So that bridge is, I got some ideas on it, but I got a year in, so we get working on the design. And then Morning Sun 26, that's just 3 culverts that are big enough and spaced apart that we can do that one ourselves pretty easily, so. Good, and then our big project is using farm to market money to overlay G28 and X14, which is up there in Oakland Township. You know, that's a busy road, 950 to 1,000 cars a day, lots of trucks and all that. I've gone back and forth on whether asphalt or concrete. At this point, I think we're going to probably look at concreting it. Muscatine County is going to do 1.5 miles of theirs, so we're trying to join our projects up into one. Hopefully we can get, you know, if you're paving 4 miles, we get a better deal than if you're paving 3 miles. So that's kind of what we're looking at up there. Plus, I'd like to fix it and just be done with it in my next 25 years or whatever. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there, so on that one. And that's about $1.6 million there. Hopefully I'm a little high on that. But that all comes out of the farm market account. So if you look at the end of the year, we would still be positive in terms of money to spend. Moving on to 2026. So it shows a bunch of projects, right? But I'm thinking or wanting to tie all those blue asphalt projects into one, and that would be our Grandview project, our bypass paving over top of our auto seal, Russell Street in Oakville and 99, into one big project. What would we be spending on that thing? We spent about, well, so that year, the X99 work there, Oakville, that's also our STVG year, which is our grant thing. So we'll get about 1.3 million, no, I'm sorry, 1.5 million of grants there. So between those projects, we'll spend about $2.3 million in farm to market money to get all that done. And of course, you know, with the price of oil and all that, we will keep an eye on those costs, and maybe they'll become a concrete project or something too. But for now, I'm planning for asphalt. Plus, we also don't know grants and all those kind of things. So I don't have any special grants or anything in this because I don't know at this time.
Yeah. That's what your main budget's for.
So big projects there. I do have a little bit of local paving that's at North in Grandview. That's in front of the fire department and all that'd be added to that project, and that'd be a locally funded portion of that project. The other non-related project to that is Bluff Road stabilization project. We would need to mix local money with farm market money on that. There's a little bit of grading to be done. So that road at the south end, you know, going into Columbus has like 300 some cars a day. Up the north end, probably 150 or so. But it's really windy and hilly and all that, and it's, you know, it gets a lot of traffic, but there's a lot of oddball corners and things like that. Back in 10 years or so ago, I think maybe when Larry's here, they talked to the utility companies about moving some power poles back and all that. I'd like to kind of jump in and get the rest of that thing graded out. We're gonna need some right away and things like that. But at the end of the day, I want that to be one of those gravel and calcium roads, you know, that doesn't have enough to get paid, but it definitely is enough to carry the heavy truck traffic that gets on it. So And then in the future, it could be paved, but we're obviously ways away from that one yet. So, and we mix about 200 grand of local money and 200 grand of on the market there, so. At the end of that year, our farm to market account would be minus 1.16 million, which we can borrow ahead 3 years, which would be 2.4 million. Okay, so we still have the ability to spend more if had to, whatever. Moving on to 2027. That's at county HMA resurfacing project. If you guys recall last time that F Avenue work out by the power plant was included on that. I had like $1 million on that thing. I used a seal coat there. And I figured it was one that we could probably maybe drop the service down a little bit, but there's not a lot of those that we can do, so.
That would be from Highway 61 all the way out past the trailer court.
It could be, yes, so that larger project would be that section. It would also be from X 61 over to the power plant. Those asphalt roads there.
Yeah.
The north-south one, I overlaid it with slag seal coat last year because it doesn't get the traffic and the trucks and all that. So that's what I'm thinking there. And that thing's been on the thing for a long time. You know, we can kind of band-aid it together, but eventually it's gonna have to get fixed, so. Next one on 2017 is that Waplo 15 bridge. That thing's out on M Avenue, below the Simmons there. Going up the hill there. That thing's got some piles that are rotting, and we'll have to do probably one of those repairs that we've done on other projects there, so.
Kind of like you did Screamers bit.
Yeah. So. So that's there, 2027. We got that viaduct. Reroute, everybody knows what it is, everybody know what that is, up on W66, west of Gladwin, and our FM road goes under the railroad tracks. I know at one time, I mean, I've got that design, we just haven't doubled the trigger on it, but basically we would go around that thing and allow, you know, trucks and traffic to get around it. Sean, have you ever been up there? The old railroad tracks, like, you know, went through Muscatine and Conesville over to Washington, and it goes over the road, and then there's an arch there. Well, the arch, you barely get a motor grader through. I don't know if it gets school buses through. Can't get you know, equipment through there, so we would route around that thing. And that's one that we've had on the list for a long time. I would like to get it done. Just, you know, we've had other things pop up and do that one. And then finally in fiscal year 2028, big one is out Wapello Bridge. It's the first one south of Wapello on gravel. It's got a bunch of potholes in the thing. It's only 20 foot wide. It's gonna have weight limits on it soon. Problem is it's big along the local bridge, which is kind of a bad deal. And hopefully by then we'll kind of know what the highway's gonna do and how that'll all fit in there. I'm picturing that when the intersection is down there, that's gonna get more traffic, because that's maybe the way to get on the bridge there, so.
I'll be surprised if I ever see this highway get past Buffalo.
That's a possible, that's
Well, it
possible.
just seems like it's,
Yep. Newest rumors are hung up with environmental regulation, the next phase heading north of Minneapolis, so. So that's going on there. And then the last one is X37 improvements. So X37 is something I'm kind of, I don't know, kind of afraid of. If you guys drive on it there, go from Wapello up to Junction, there's a lot of like these spots where the roads just, the concrete's kind of going away. And we can patch it for years, but we're just concerned at some point that whole thing's gonna kind of crap on us. This actual project I'm planning here is kind of redoing Jordan's corner up the Hazes. You know, making that curve, making it flatter, and then the hoopty on the top and flattening that hole out there. Gonna go after some safety funds when those are available, and try to do the best we can on that section there. But if other areas go, we can kind of move the project here, there, wherever we think, so.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird section in that road right there.
And then, you know, the other, someday, when the concrete's bad enough, just coming out of Columbus City there, those two Eskers, I'd like to round those out and make them safer. I mean, we've had trucks go off the ditch, I'm sure you're out there. But, you know what I'm saying, that there's driving along, slow down to 35 and all that, so. You know, we've got a lot of long-term plans on things. One bridge I actually talked to our bridge consultant about this morning is the one on McKay Road, right? We decked it, or we redecked it in 2016 or 17. But talking to them, it was built in the 50s, and it will never carry the loads that we are gonna expect to get on it. So, you know, someday that'll probably have to be on the list, and maybe that's one of those grant opportunities we can do or something like that, but. So.
How much did he spend redecking it?
Before my time, so I
I know.
don't know,
Well,
100 grand or something.
when they did the K Road 12 years ago. It's surprising they didn't replace the bridge back then, but
Yeah,
it was a low budget project, the whole,
yeah. So,
and that was before Larry.
yeah, which and that bridge was built in 1959, so I mean, it's had a good life, and if you get to it in 2029 or something, that'd be 7 years. I mean, it's not terrible, but so.
It's like the one down in the gully where Elric.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
You know,
With a nice speed bump on the west side.
Yeah.
yeah. So, I guess, so those are the projects, you know, I felt we could probably get done with our budget and all that. You know, I got a bunch of smaller bridges too, I'm looking at, you know, there's a little one. Oh, East Oakville over the drainage ditch, it's a wood one, you know, that's not technically a bridge because it's only 16 feet, but you know, there's lots of things like that maybe those are maintenance repairs and things like that, but I mean, there's always.
Provided no emergencies jump up and hit you.
Yeah.
You know, but again, how busy is that road now?
Yeah, true, and then,
I know it's a pretty good sized bridge.
yeah, it's like 16 foot. You know, and maybe that's a tank car thing, and we just kind of do it, we don't ask for a blessing there or something, so. I don't know,
Whole different ditch banks there.
yeah,
They completely closed down the ferry landing.
Yeah.
you can get down to the
The
boat ramp.
No campgrounds.
No
none of that
campgrounds,
anymore.
no.
It's all
There's-
gone.
cement deals to keep, you can turn your truck around, put a boat
And
in.
what's the conservation? Is that there?
It's the Corps, and they offered to give it to our conservation department, but they did not want it.
Probably get it
3 or 4
pretty
years
cheap now,
ago.
so.
Well, there is. I've heard of a couple people that would like to lease it from the Corps and do their own thing within Corps.
quite the camping place.
Oh, I remember as a kid, I mean, my.
I remember a family pulled a bus out there and lived there every summer.
Yeah. So, I guess, that's the plan for now. You guys have any questions about it? Anything that I'm missing or?
Looks pretty thorough. Like a budget, at least you have a plan.
So, I guess if you guys are okay, I do need to have this signed, I guess I have to make a motion and sign
I'll
it.
make a motion that we assign the presentation of a 5-year plan.
Second.
Okay, and we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
All right, no problem. And Salinas and Sandy in here, can you sign on behalf of the auditor? Okay. And hopefully things could go well, there's all kinds of grants, we can add things on here and make it.
Do it in 4 years instead of 5.
Also hope this in inflation kind of cools down because our spending power is
Yeah, good luck with that.
is much reduced, so.
Yeah, what's sad, it seems like the 5-year plan, boy, is about the 7-year plan. And some of them keep floating, put off.
Yeah.
The government says there is no inflation. My imagination.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, that's what your president said.
President, okay.
That you use your imagination.
Okay, well, does, anybody have any, for me about anything or?
No,
Anything
I
else
haven't heard
going on in the
any-
world? Trying to keep everybody happy out there.
No news is good news.
I guess so. All right, guys, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
Yep.
Okay, that,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
the motion second, all in favor, aye. Okay.
Gentlemen, you have a good day.
Whoa.
Thanks for the moral support.
Okay. It's fun to watch you two's expression on some of this stuff.
I don't know.